Welcome to my daily review. Today is Tuesday, August 12th. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which closed at a record high today, traded at a record high. It was up 297 points or 1.39% and closed 6.3% above the 52, 3.1% above the 21 and 1.3% above the five. So an index, above the five, that thing's just making new highs, and there's nothing more bullish than an index making new highs. I have friends who have contrasting opinions who said, yeah, get bullish, go big, we're making new highs. And there's others who, the higher we go, the smaller they play because they're afraid of the impending pullback. So it's just interesting and nice to have some friends to bounce ideas off of. I don't really say much. I just listen and I don't have an opinion. I'm just observing the market. It's going higher. Usually, when markets make new highs, they continue to make more subsequent new highs. That's just historically until they don't, until, they do something like, this. We saw we saw a long rally here and then it sold off and corrected 27%. But just take it one day at a time. The market's doing fine. It's making new highs. So yeah, I mean just go with that, right? Sure, it's going to pull back at some point, but you don't want to predict that because you can really get hammered, trying to go short, predicting that the Nasdaq's going to crater tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, not likely to happen. This is a game of probability, and the odds are, your probability is that it continues to trade higher. It did have that one weakness there where it closed that Friday below the 21, but immediately got back above the five and now surfing the five. All right, we know when the index is making these types of moves, we know that, those Mag 7 stocks or the Nasdaq 100 stocks are driving it. And I had mentioned in my inaugural post parade video this morning that I'm going to try to do 5 minute videos because the narrative, some people say the narrative is a lot to read through, and I get it. During earnings season there is a lot. So I'll just make a little 5 minute video. Hopefully I can keep it to 5 minutes just on stocks that I'm looking at, that maybe not be on the ready list. But this is one, Meta Platforms, that gapped higher after its earnings, formed this little pennant, and I posted, or excuse me, I'd mentioned this on my post parade video, my inaugural one. There will be one tomorrow too. But it did pop out of that wedge there, and that's what you want to see. The continuing strength, and Meta Platforms made a new high. And I got friends, buying the 800 calls and they're celebrating and good for them. I'm happy for people who make money in the market. That's great. That's the whole idea. Did I take that trade? No, I didn't, but I definitely identified the pattern, and that's a very nice looking pattern, and it's a nice move, 3% higher. Now, the one that I was looking at that I didn't put on the ready list is Google. It did pull back to its five. It did exactly what I wanted it to do on Monday. I didn't put it on. It was up more than 1%. See, it had an inside day on Monday and just pulled back to its five here. That was exactly what I was expecting, but I didn't buy it. I don't know. Sometimes I see this stuff and I just don't act on it, but it's healthy. The stock is healthy, is riding its five. It's surfing like Kelly Slater on the five there. So when it pulls back to the five, it should continue to find support there. And the actually the standard buy point, I guess, would be 207.05, but I just buy on pullbacks, buy the dips and sell the rips in this type of an environment. Another one that I was watching that I, have had on the ready list was Tesla, and it's just trading tight within the base. It had this broke above its downtrend line last week. So I put it on, had a nice move Monday, and just kind of a quiet day today. That's okay. It's just trading tight within the base, allowing that moving average to catch up. You got to always know where that moving average is because they're going to come back to them eventually. Some stocks that just pop up, and it seems like they're never going to catch up to them, but eventually they do. So, Tesla's trading tight within the base. So I really like this pattern here. I'm going to leave this one on my ready list. It's 2.8% above the five. So maybe, a pullback in the morning and a pop tomorrow, red to green type of day. I wouldn't mind that. Or maybe just the index pulls back a day and we all get a little breather. it's been running pretty hard. Another one that I put on my ready list is Netflix. I think I did. Ugh, if I didn't, I should have. I'm pretty sure I did. But it broke above its downtrend line a while back here. And now, it's up against the 50. The 50 is providing a little bit of a resistance here. It was still up, I don't know, $7 today, or 0.5%. It needs to get through that resistance area for me to get really excited about Netflix here. Yeah, it was at 1230, and the high today was 1230, 199. So yeah, just a little Matombo action there. Just give it some time. You got to be patient sometimes, with stocks. Don't be too impatient. All right, I'm not going to get to all the others, but I will show Apple. I didn't have this one on, but yeah, nice day. And these are the stocks that are going to move the needle, right? The indexes. When the indexes move, Microsoft up 1.5%, kind of the same as the index. All right, that's it for that group. I wanted to show some of the earnings reports this morning, some of that stocks that I was looking for in my post parade, my inaugural post parade, and then some themes that were working today, including actually the airlines. I couldn't believe it. And and then tonight's earnings report. So anyway, I'm going to get right to it. Some earnings reports from last night and this morning. Mercury Systems. This is a aerospace. We know this space is super hot, and I do have at least one aerospace defense name on the ready list. But this thing popped out of a base. Once again, one of your which is a growing list of these power earnings gaps higher, right? Which is just so long. I've got them from like 3 weeks ago. MRCY is added to our list. And I got to go to the weekly here. This is a thing of beauty. Just breaking out of this base. I mean, this is kind of abnormal for it to make a move like that. It made a 12% move, a weekly move back in August of 24, and this one's up 29%. That's a powerful move for this aerospace defense name. Who else reported this morning or last night that had a nice move? LIF. This is a computer software, which I'm a little leery of this group, but you can see once again that type of pattern, this little wedge or pennant or pattern back to a moving average, and then the pop 13%. There it is. This is like a flag, and then there's your pennant. And we're seeing a lot of these working, and I have more. But anyway, 13% move. LIF is going to join your power earnings gappers, and there's quite a few of them here that I'm adding. All right, and then the other one was a biotech stock, and this is Liquidia, and this one popped out of a base here, 13.68% with strong volume. So man, we're getting a lot of this, and this is what we get in an uptrending market. In a bull market, you don't see this in bear markets or even sideways markets where they gap and they go. Once again, little shakeout before the breakout there, got support at the 21. So good move there. Some other ones that I think we're more interested in here. Some people commented on this morning, early this morning, On Holdings reported. It popped, nice pop, 9%, much better than Deckers or Crocs, but you could see the resistance here at the 200. It got the Motombo treatment. If I go on a shorter time frame here, there you go, right there at the open, just immediately swatted down by Motombo. It still had a nice day. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's up 9%. Way better than anything in the shoe area that we've seen here recently. So very nice move. Actually, I lied because WWW had a nice pop. Yeah, thank you very much. So sorry, got to keep me in check here. As soon as I said that, my brain went, "No, you're lying." All right, ASTS. This one, nice pullback here to the 50, first time after the breakout from the base. But this one, it looked like it was really going to ramp today, and it closed near the low of the daily range here. So kind of disappointing, even though it's up 8%. It's hard to be disappointed with an 8% move, but it was at 55.50. So if you go to the shorter time frame, there you go. Ramp up at the open and sellers all day long. But still, you're not going to be disappointed with a 9% move if you're long this stock. Another one that reported that was had a really nice move is SE, 19% move. Still right there at the old buy point, but right now it's what, 10.7% above the five, so it needs to allow that five to catch up. What you want to see maybe is an inside day tomorrow, but nice move here for SE. This has got to be on our list as well, our power earnings gap, because when you up nearly 20% with that kind of volume, that's a move not to be ignored. Circle reported. I'm not enamored with this one. I just a study IPOs. This one's I think is going to need more time. How about that? I think that's fair to say. OKLO reported, and they also got a contract. So I think in the middle of the day it was announced here because I was watching this and yeah, it was moving up nice, and all of a sudden I think that news came out here and it really ramped into the close. So congrats to the longs from OKLO, and I think that's it for the earnings. I do want to point out on my post parade, I want to get to some of these at a private video. I think it's like 6 or 7 minutes that I made. So you got to be on the site there at MC Stock Charts to see it. But this is INSM. I had been posting about this one for weeks because they were going to have a PDUFA. Today, the FDA approved their drug, and kind of a nice move here. I expect it to go higher. You could see that it was halted here for a while until the approval, and then when the approval came, it ramped up. Maybe, some people are saying, well, I thought it was going to go higher. I thought it was going to go higher. Well, it probably will, but it's going to take some time, get those shorts out of there. And, probably a lot of it was priced in. I mean, it's moved here from what, 63 to 122. So, it's made a big move already. Okay. And they're still losing money. So, don't lose your head here. Yeah, I sold and took profits and it went higher after I sold. And that's okay with me. It's a biotech. So I don't, and I'm not going to put this in my IRA or anything. These things are treacherous. But congrats to the longs there who made that trade. STRL, I mentioned this one. I did buy this one, and I am going to try to marry this one. No, I'm kidding. I just I screwed this thing up a long time ago. And I don't want to get into old war stories, but I want to say back from, I don't know, back here in 23 or whatever. I mean, this has been a long time. Yeah, it was below 100. I never bought it. And then during the, the tariff correction. I didn't buy it then either. The January, February, March, April. I should have bought it here, right? It was 96 bucks. I haven't bought this thing the whole time. I just watch it and marvel at its strength. Finally, gapped higher last week, then pulled back. And like I said, we've seen these pennant patterns work really well. So I closed my eyes, plugged my nose, and just bought the damn thing. Below 300. I think maybe it's the last time I get a chance to buy it under 300. This thing has just been a super performer, and I hope it works out for me. How about that? BMNR, I did mention this one as well. You got to know what you hold here. This is they did a $20 billion secondary, and I think the market cap is only 7 billion. They did a 20 billion. There's a lot of wealthy people that are using this stock as a vehicle to increase their wealth. And I just think this thing's going to go much, much higher. There's just too much money here behind this thing. Yeah, it went up to 161. I know, and it pulled back like 30. Like I said, it's not for everybody, but I think it rallies back. Yeah, that would not surprise me at all. In fact, I'd be surprised if it didn't. But anyway, it was up 6% today. Nice move for BMNR. Palo Alto Networks, I mentioned at the top, at the post parade, excuse me, my morning video that they got an upgrade and it responded nicely, 4.3%. I didn't buy it, and I'm not really interested in the software names right now. They're kind of scaring me a little bit. But once again, I speak out of both sides of my neck. I do own App Lovin. It's just, to me, it's kind of an easy hold because I got a good price on it. After the earnings report, it sold off. And yeah, so I'm very happy with my entry point here. And it's just, a couple of things. Somebody was saying that on September 5th, they're going to add a stock to the S&P. I don't know about that. I think the next rebalance is September 19th. AppLovin, Hood, MicroStrategy are certainly three top candidates for that. And like I say, it's not a good reason to buy a stock. However, if AppLovin is included, it's probably going to 525 or so. Robinhood, once again, if this is included, it's probably going to 130 or 140. Um, yeah, Robinhood is one that I own. I get a lot of questions about Robinhood. This is not one of those stocks that's going to go up 8, 10, 12% in a day. It's just like one of these steady grinders. You can see how tight this trades here. These are not big bars here. It had this, they believe around earnings, I think, after the gosh, Marty, you're losing your mind here. I think it made that high on that Friday. I remember that because I was on the golf course and thinking, man, I should sell that. But I didn't. I thought they had earnings in between there. Maybe not. But it's been about 4 weeks now, going on 4 weeks. And it's just, if you just watch the green line, the five here, it's like a magnet. Okay. So every time it comes back to the five, it bounces, but it doesn't bounce crazy. This is the big move that Friday there, 4%. And then it got a little wonky here, when the market pulled back that what Thursday and Friday. But now it's getting right back into the kind of like the Nasdaq, just getting right back into the grinding higher along the five. And I think that's what it's going to do. It's not going to make these big moves. If you're buying calls and expecting some big move, I don't think it's going to do that, but it might. I mean, I've been wrong before, but if you didn't own it prior, I think that still gives you a decent entry point right there. AMD, I believe I talked about this one this morning. They um they didn't include China revenues in their report last week, so they're going to have to do that. I think there's just going to be buyers here. This stock's in demand, and it's not going to go up every day. And people are whining that it was down today. Yeah, it was down. I don't care. I mean, to me, I mean, if you own this thing's doing nothing wrong. Pretty easy hold, actually. It's in demand. Then buyers came in at the close. If I go back to that 5 minute, which is why, yeah, there you see, buyers just bought this thing up all day long. So. Yeah, I'm not worried about AMD. Okay, fix. I believe I showed this one earlier. If I didn't, like I said, these little pennant patterns, these things have been working, and it did again today here on fix. Looks kind of like Meta a little bit here, where it pulled back to a moving average sideways, and then went up nearly 4% today. If I go to the weekly, yeah, that looks like 3 weeks tight. Yeah, I believe I put that one on the ready list. If not, I screwed up then. How about that? Lemonade. This is another one of our relative strength stocks. Just surfing the five. Every time it comes back to the five, it pops, and it did again today. XMTR. I'm pretty sure I included this one on our power earnings gap video last week, where it made this big move. Then it, consolidated inside day, pull back. Monday, pull back to the five and bounce, and today really popped 10%. So let's go to like a 10-minute chart and see that pull back and pop, man. I mean, that's going from like what 40 to 48, and then what is it? Not even, in a couple of days. That's a big move. Uh, yeah, I'll take that. I don't own it. I should, but some of these machine stocks are very hot. AIR. Now I know I put this one on the list. It wedged back to the 50, and it's been acting well. Big volume here. It's not Aunt Sally buying that stock, up 3.5% today. So it's getting a little extended from the five. So it's going to come off the ready list because I think it's kind of moved too much a little bit. 3.4% above the five, which is a lot for this one. Yeah, and it's up more than 4% this week. But still, is an aerospace defense stock that I like a lot. And NVT, I think I put this one on the radar list. I don't know. I'm losing it. I'm doing too much. Anyway, it's got this flag pattern. After I know I put this one on our power earnings gap, and this is why we don't ignore these stocks. And I'm telling you, the theory behind it over and over again is that they have the earnings report and it's better than expected. And instead of earning $1.50, they're earning $2. In this case, instead of $2, they're going to earn $3. So they rejigger their business, their models for the stock and say, hey, we're going to upgrade this thing and raise the price target. They come in and buy the stock. And institutions don't buy all at once. They buy, every week, every couple weeks, every month. And they take another bite out of NVT, the Electrical Power Equipment Group. Is another top group. All right, I'm going to move on from all that stuff. Tomorrow's video will be shorter, I promise. All right, where am I going? Oh, the cryptocurrency names, just MicroStrategy. I would love to see this one trade above 400. I was going to put this one on. I might have. I like it above. Of course, it's just strategy now. The strategy is buy as much Bitcoin as you can, but until that thing can pop off that 50 above 400, I don't like it. I like it much more above 400 and even 410. It can really move. The stock can really move, but it's just kind of stuck there. And I don't like squatting stocks. Coinbase, I don't know, another one that that's a mutual fund. Coinbase below the 50. Can't get too excited about this either. I showed you Robinhood earlier and BMNR. So the crypto names, Galaxy is another one. This thing's wild, man. Look at these bars. When I just showed you Robin had how tight it's trading, and this one's got these. The average daily range is more than probably 12%, right? I mean, look at this thing yesterday, 30 to 28. Yeah, this is a big move here. I mean, yeah, every day. I mean, every day it's like that. At least 10%. Today, the high was 29.44, the low was 27.36, so more than $2. So not quite 10%, but yeah, kind of a wild stock here. Um, I believe it's going to trade higher over time, but it's just going to take some time. All right, that's it for the crypto names. And I did want to show you these building construction stocks, and I had people asking me, and I told them I bought in Sterling, and I like Sterling, and I like some of these names in here. And she was telling me about, in Virginia, how the friend she knows is, they're building a ton of data centers there, and they're building them in North Dakota, the swamplands of Louisiana. They're building them everywhere in the United States. Well, who's building them? Well, who do you think, right? These contractors, right? And this is the number one group now. It overtook the energy group. This is TPC. I just showed you Willdan, Quanta. It's another one that's not pulled back to the 50 here. Bounced today. PRIM, another one. Look at this. Jeez. Power earnings gap move, trading sideways. Didn't even go down. It just went sideways. So that one looks pretty darn good as well. Man, there's so many of these stocks. And I look over here and I don't even have this one written down. I don't think I must have 60 stocks here with power earnings gaps. Pull back to the five, pop 3% today. So a lot of these names here in this heavy construction group are showing strength. This is Road. I don't think I had this one on the right list. I have it written down here on the watch list, but I don't think I put it on. Yeah, breaking out this week, nearly 5%. It's too late for me to put it on now. It's catch the next train. That's all. All right. Another group that I like a lot is ALAB and RMBS and AMD, the semiconductor name. I know the SMH traded at an all-time high today, excuse me, a new high today. And STRL Labs trading at an all-time high, 193.77, up 7%. Once again, this is a power earnings gap, goes sideways, had an inside day. Thursday, Friday popped a little bit, and then Monday, Tuesday, off to the races again. Once again, that same theory applies. Um, and it could be short covering as that institutions buy, not all at once. And they're coming back for another bite of this thing. This is one of the top earnings reports that I've seen all this quarter here. You go from 144% to 150% sales growth, triple digit earnings growth. This just no hair on this one. And NVIDIA, since I mentioned NVIDIA, I better show NVIDIA. I think I already did, didn't I? When the index goes up, NVIDIA just, yeah, it looks fine. Rambus, that's the one that I wanted to get to. Made a nice pop today at 5% and made a new 52-week high. The thing of beauty here. And so the SMH, which I mentioned, which is the VanEck Semiconductor Exchange Traded Fund there, looks like it's just breaking out to me. And those stocks that I showed you, AMD, NVIDIA, and Broadcom, those are big components of that um, ETF. All right. Let's move on. If you're going to buy one in that group, I don't know. To me, I prefer AMD and ALAB, but Rambus is doing well. NVIDIA, it seems more like a safer stock, but I think you got to own one of them. And since I'm on this group, I'm going to go over here to Credo, making a new high today. Up, man, it went through 100 like poop through a goose. I thought I would have trouble there, and it just is not. It's just doing, what is it doing, folks? You can tell me, right? If you just look at the green line. Yeah, it pulled back to the 21 one day on that day that the Nasdaq had a little hiccup. But yeah, just surfing the vibe. So let the lines be your guide. Extreme. I'd mentioned this one on the power earnings gap here, and what did it do? Form this little pennant, right? And then it popped off the five today. Nice 3.5% move. So congrats to my friends at Extreme Networks, and then Arista Networks, which had the big stock split, had this power earnings gap trading sideways. These things look fantastic. This just looks like a bull market. If you just look at these leading stocks, your Sanmina, Sola Brothers, they're living it up here in Croatia. No, I'm teasing. They're working hard there in San Jose. All right, just surfing the five. CLS, same things. Canadian. This is another top stock and a top group. Surfing the five, folks. I mean, so you ask, like, God, I want to own CLS and it gapped up here and I can't buy it up here. I can't buy it. When do you buy it? Well, when it pulls back here, right? Well, you got to be very quick. You miss it, and then it rises up, right? Went from 188, the next day it's at 204, and then it pulls back another day, gives you another chance right in here, right? 191. Anything under 200 now, it's at 213.45. And I don't think you can chase it after it made a big move today, up 4.3%, 3.6% above that green line. So if you want to own that thing, just observe the green line. What else can I tell you? Got to have some guardrails here. FN is another one in that same group, and this one's just surfing the five. LITE. Oh, I screwed up. These guys reported. Did I show you that one earlier? I did not. Yeah, they reported tonight, was it? Yeah, I think tonight. It ramped up into the report. I believe they reported tonight. Anyway, okay, I went too early there. Yeah, I do have that written down for later. Sorry about that. I mentioned Palo Alto Networks. The software name's a little hesitant on these. They were just upgraded as I double dip here on some of these. ZETA Global Holdings, popped on earnings, a move not to be ignored, pulled back to the five. This looks really good to me. I'm a little hesitant in these software names, but you can't deny that one looks pretty darn good. Am I going to buy it? No, I'm not. I might put it on the ready list though for others to buy above the 200. I'm just a little hesitant with software right now. There's just too many sellers out there. And then Oracle, which is a big kahuna. And I'm not afraid of Oracle. It's such a big monster. And Palantir, surfing the five there. There's Oracle and then Palantir. Yeah, I mean, just can barely pull back to the five. So maybe that was your chance this morning to buy it. If you go to the 5 minute, that little dip, that's it. You got to be quick. In the stock market, there's the quick and the dead. Man, this is an incredible market. All right, I'm going to move on. I did mention earlier that even the airline stocks got some love today. And this is an indication, I believe, that the American Airlines, nice pop, below the 200, United Airlines, that interest rates, the inflation data was kind of tame today. The job market's loosening up a lot. The economy's slowing, so it all it's a confluence of events that I think will lead the Fed to lower rates. And we all want lower rates. Heck, if I'm going to get a home loan or a car loan, I want lower rates. If you have a 7% mortgage on your home, you want to refinance at 5%. It just opens up business lending a lot when they lower rates. So typically, at the when they start lowering rates, that's when the market begins their bull market. We've already had this bull market, so yeah, I think the market's just really anticipating lower interest rates. The home builders are telling me the same thing today. This is DR Horton. surfing the five. You can see that this shorter term moving averages went through the 200. I've been through this with this one. I like it a lot. I think I had it on the ready list last week. But this is telling me that, the market thinks that, and all the betting markets are saying that they're going to lower rates in September. We'll see. Builder first source is below the 200, but still had a nice pop today on, that CPI report, the inflation data. And this is Armstrong. This is a flooring company providing floors. And this one, this has a familiar look, does it not? It's got this this kind of flag. It broke out of a double bottom base, and then it just, flagged for just a short period of time, maybe a week, and then pop. So yeah, it's a very familiar pattern here for us recently. And those little pinching in there, you let it pinch in, and then it pops. And so that group looks good. And then the last group I'm going to get to NVT. I showed you that one. BWXT is another one that I had on the power earnings gap. Gap tire had a series of like inside days, tight, 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 pull back to the five. I might put that one on the ready list. I really like the way that one looks. Kind of like a short stroke pattern. Probably won't pop till next week. And you want to see it trade above the 189. So $10. That's a big move for a BWXC above that high of the gap day. Then you're off to the races. You got blue skies forever and a day. I mentioned OKLO earlier, so I'm not going to show you that one. And then Bloom Energy, nice pop there off the five. And this is just a very common theme. So you're not going to get a lot of stocks set up in bases, breaking out with cup with handles. You're going to have to buy the stronger stocks off their moving averages. And like we saw with, Meta, as I showed you earlier, pull back to a moving average and pop. That's the type of moves that we're seeing. All right. I'll have another video tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to keep it super short. Just talk about stocks that I'm looking at, no index or anything like that. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except in honor of the great Steve Jobs. One more thing. Core we reported tonight. Not a great quarter. I didn't think it was a great quarter. They beat on their looks like somebody was ramping it, maybe short covering into the print. But they beat on revenues, and they said, the CEO is always going to say that, demand is insatiable. But, I just take a look at that Core stock. They bought Core Scientific for 9 million until this one starts ramping up. 4.5 billion market cap stock. So it's got to go to like $30 for CoreWeave's buying it with all stock. So that tells me to stay away from CoreWeave. That's all. I mean, it had a nice run off the lows, right? 100 up to 148 today. Pulling back a little bit after hours following the print. Kava, the restaurant business, man, they just totally they laid an egg essentially. They had 6.1% same source sales expectation, and they came in with like 2%. You just can't do that. They missed on revenues. It's just a really tough business. And this is what makes Dutch Bros, to me, their business model just all the more impressive. There's very few retail restaurant stocks just killing it right now. Kava is not one of them. Rigetti reported. I did not see the report. The reaction to the report down 3%. Okay, it's just been going sideways. And then I showed you earlier, I blew it. LITE had a report and it's up more than 3%, nearly 4% after hours. Tomorrow morning, we're going to hear from, and earnings season is winding down. I'm a little sad, but we had really 3 or 4 weeks of just jam-packed action, and now it's kind of winding down. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from Brinker, another retail restaurant name that's just fallen out here. Went from what, 192 to 154. That's not ideal. And then ESLT, this is an aerospace defense stock that I had on my ready list last week, and it did well, and then it didn't. And it pulled back to the 50. So caution ahead of the print. I don't know. I'm thinking probably a pretty good number there. Anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening. See you in the morning.